Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Mets stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on Sport.
And welcome in. It's in-game live game day on a wild, wonderful Wednesday. Yours truly, Scott Wetzel, along with Adam Kaufman, filling in for Dave Sherapan for the next 2 glorious hours right here on the grid as we watch, analyze, and bet on the world of sports. A little playoff hockey, little playoff NBA action starting up here in a little bit as well. Then we got a decent number of baseball games, some in progress, some that'll start in a little bit. So a lot over the next 2 hours to put a couple of shekels on and hopefully make some money with the boys in Vegas. My partner in crime, Mr. Adam Kaufman. What's going on, Adam? How are you tonight, bud?
Yeah, man, you outlined it. It couldn't be any better than getting the opportunity to sweat some playoff games in particular. Not to say that the baseball games don't provide you an opportunity to make money. Of course they do, and it's just always good when live sports is in play. But the playoffs in particular, these are the games we're running out of. We got baseball for months and months to come. So you got the opener, Eastern Conference Finals, and the NBA, the Knicks and Pacers, which to me is a fascinating pick'em kind of series. I like the dog, Indiana, in the series overall. Not necessarily here in Game 1 tonight. I know that one's going to tip off soon. And then, of course, in the Western Conference, the NHL. We got that going after last night, a rare blowout in these playoffs with Florida smacking around the heavily favored Hurricanes in Game 1 of that series. So tonight should be a good time. And Edmonton, can it begin the march back to the Stanley Cup final? I'm excited.
Yeah, it's amazing, Adam. We had this running debate on the podcast about the NBA versus the NHL, right? And the NBA will it won't win. It just won't because, last night you had a blowout in hockey, but at least it was kind of competitive. But in the end, 5-2, it was a blowout, right? Hockey standards. But at least it's competitive. NBA, you get a blowout. That fourth quarter was impossible to watch. And you get those so often, in these, even in the NBA playoffs. So it's just, I hope we get tonight, without really, really having a dog in the fight, just from a selfish standpoint, I just hope we get a couple of competitive games tonight.
Completely. Last night, like you said, ultimately, turned into blowouts. And Oklahoma City was down a fair amount of that game against Minnesota, and then the better team woke up basically in the second half of the third quarter into the fourth, got up by 20 points at one point, kind of won the game going away, covered the number as I expected the Thunder were going to do, and I was on last night with Dane Martinez here in this time slot, and even when they were trailing, I just kept saying it and saying it and saying it. I would invest in the Thunder. You could have gotten the Thunder even money on the money line at one point, and I was saying, Bet it right now. OKC is going to come back and win this game. SGA is going to wake up in the second half. You'll see. The hockey game, though, I didn't see that coming. Not Florida winning. That part doesn't surprise me with the upset there as a dog, but the fact that we got such a lopsided game. And I know, it was 2-0 and then it was 2-1 at the end of one. And then obviously Florida opens up, makes 3-1 early in the second. Never look back at that point in time. And you get the, whatever it was, 5-2, 6-2 final. But, you just don't see blowouts of that magnitude often during the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I know it's weird to say that after seeing them in consecutive games that the Florida Panthers have been involved in. Maybe that's why they're the defending champs. But on top of that, I just thought that series in general screamed under. I like overs in the Western Conference, but I liked under in that one. And, it was, I guess, sweaty for a little while, but after a 3-goal first period, it was like, 5.5 total. I don't think we're going to get there. And of course, they cleared going away by the end.
It's amazing. The overs in the NHL just continue to fly out. It's just remarkable. So one of the things, we'll break it all down, Edmonton and Dallas, and then the Knicks and Indiana Pacers and the other baseball stuff. But we do have some games starting. So one of the things we do here, Adam, is our 5 on the line. We give you the 5 best trends of the games that have yet to get underway. So far, 35 games over 500 if you played every single one of these since we started doing this a couple of months ago. So time for our 5 on the line. All right, let's rattle them off in descending order as far as how good they are. So we'll start with number 5. NBA, 4 of the last 5 meetings between the Knicks and Indiana Pacers have gone over. Last year when they met this round, 3-1 over at the games played at Madison Square Garden. And the one game that didn't go over because Indiana failed to show. They lost like 121 to 91. So that's why it went under, not because you didn't have a winning score, not because it was 95-90. So you got 4 and 5 over last 5 meetings, 3-1 over last year in the postseason at Madison Square Garden. So trend-wise, let's go over it's down to 221 in some circles, including on FanDuel. So people are betting the under, but not me. Trend says over 223.5, Adam.
Interesting with this game, we saw it open at 222.5. Looks like it's pretty universally 221.5 right now. All the more advantageous, obviously, if you do want to go to the over. And I was on Game Time Decisions last hour with Joe Ranieri, and he was asking me, what's the right way to play this? And I said, and maybe it's a little bit of a cop-out answer, right? But I said that ultimately I think it's correlated. If you really like the Knicks at home to open up this series with a win, the methodical style of play that New York, this is not, not a lot of high-scoring games in general when New York is involved, unless maybe you get that paced-up team on the other side like Indiana that was top 3 in the NBA in pace over the course of the regular season. If you like the Knicks, though, to win this thing, maybe even comfortably, you probably like a lower scoring game. Whereas obviously if you support Indiana and they're just going to be running and gunning and putting up a million shots, you would lean toward the over with the Pacers. Me being someone who likes the Pacers in this series, and I know we can get into that a little bit more as the show rolls on, I think that ultimately they clear their team total, win or lose, and that to me means a tighter game. So I'm going over the 108.5, 110.5, wherever it sits right now. And so I'm putting that in my mind, at least, with the over for the game. I think if Indiana is scoring, that means we're getting a higher scoring game. So I'm with you.
All right, next one, NHL, Dallas and Edmonton. 5-0 under run. Last 5 meetings. Nice and simple, under 6.5, Edmonton at Dallas. Your thoughts?
That's what surprises me. Not the play, but the trend itself. Just because I look at Edmonton, I look at Dallas, I expect higher scoring games in this series, especially with what we've seen here through 2 rounds of the playoffs so far. So look, maybe I'll be wrong. I was wrong last night in terms of the way the total was going to go in that one. I just think I'd rather go 6.5 here.
All right, baseball, number 3, Arizona 14-6 over their last 20 games. Dodgers 11-2 over their last 13 at home. The play, over 9, Arizona, LA Dodgers.
I got the Dodgers in a parlay last night with that 10th inning rally by the skin of my teeth. I know it was very, it was lucky, it was sweaty, it was everything. No, we got a lower scoring game last night. Obviously, I would lean toward the over given the pitching matchup in this one.
All right, number 2, Angels have won 5 in a row while the A's have lost 7 straight. Put them together. Give me the Angels tonight, plus 145 at Oakland or / Sacramento.
I actually like the A's in this spot. I, in general, would like to lean toward overs in that ballpark, but in terms of the side, I think Sacramento or Oakland, former, whatever we want to call them, the A's are the right side here.
All right, that leaves us with just one. Philadelphia's won 5 in a row. Colorado 2-15, the worst team in baseball. You know where we're going, boys. The number 1 trend. It's got to be Philadelphia, minus the 220 at Colorado. Anytime, really, Colorado is on the schedule and we haven't started their game yet, it's probably going to be our number 1 trend because they're just an automatic play against. They're just so bad. So, Philadelphia, minus the 220. Maybe lay the run and a half if you want to. Just getting underway. Scott and Adam right here on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid. Scott and Adam Kaufman in for Dave Sherapan. Tonight, as we take it to 10 p.m. Eastern time, we are underway NBA. And just to kind of follow through on some of those trends in case you missed them, once again, our 5 best trends for tonight, our 5 on the line, as we like to call them here on SportsGrid. Over 222.5 Indiana, New York. Good luck trying to get that number because it's already up to 230, but still under 6.5 Edmonton and Dallas. They're just underway. Arizona Dodgers over 9, which is a big number, which we'll get into. I don't quite understand that number. Angels plus the 145 as the A's have lost 7 straight. Angels have won 5 in a row. And then betting against Colorado is their number 1 trend. Philadelphia, the Phillies minus 220. Put it in a parlay. As we always like to say, I'd rather give you Philadelphia minus 220 as a winner versus Philadelphia minus 1.5 runs as a loser. You decide if you want to play it straight or put it in a parlay. But I don't think Colorado's going to be competitive tonight. At least I hope not. So, good start. Adam,
can I ask you about that real quick? Actually, before we get to basketball, let me just build on the Philly thing right there, because I'm with you. You know, I've got the Phillies just money line and parlays tonight. I've got the run line involved in some plays as well. I think it's a great spot for Philadelphia, not just because of how good Philly is or how bad Colorado is, but factoring in the pitching matchup, all of it. I think there are a lot of reasons to lean toward Philadelphia tonight, and they've been smacking them around here during this series. And I think just in general, this has been, and if Philadelphia does its job tonight, this will come to fruition as it did yesterday, but it's a good time to be attacking those worst teams in baseball, right? Seattle in Chicago against the White Sox, Philadelphia in Colorado against the Rockies. Put, these Philly-Seattle money line parlays together, nice plus money hits if they can get you there. But I am wondering your thought process in general, because I'm sure there are a lot of people thinking the same way. Like, all right, I'm just going to blindly bet against the terrible teams. And yeah, every once in a while, it's going to go south on me. Colorado's bound to win every once in a while. Chicago's bound to win every once and again, win every once and again. But, how often do you want to just blindly attack those terrible teams? How dependent is it to you with who's on the other side when it's not a team of Philadelphia's caliber or Seattle's caliber?
Right. I'll generally pick one team. Like this year, we picked the Dodgers to bet on them blindly and just see how that turned out. And it was going well. Beginning of the year, it was really going well. But lately, no. And we we given all our profits back. We're basically down to even. In fact, minus if you're a $100 player, we were keeping track of. I think we're down like $50 now. After everything is said and done, we're over 1,000 ahead. So to answer your question, we flipped. Now it's Colorado. Little hesitant Colorado at home, because they are better at home than they're just the worst thing in the world on the road, Adam. But I'm at the point now with Colorado where I'm just going to bet them blindly against them all the time. I really want. They're just the numbers are just alarming. They're on pace for about 25 wins this year. I mean, it's crazy how bad they are.
8-40.
It's nuts. You look at that. I mean, there's so many stats you could give, but 2-15 their last 17 games. 8-40 worst record in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go even further back to last year, you could tack on 6 more losses because that's what they closed out last year with. So they're really 8-46. I mean, think about it. They're 8-46 their last 50-plus games. They've lost every series this year. They haven't won a series. And there's just I'm at that point where it's, you're getting a better number when you're betting against them, obviously at home, and how many people are really going to these games now. So I'll do it now. We're in that position with Colorado. Just do it. Keep track of it. What I like to tell people is go open up another account. If you got a FanDuel account, go to DraftKings. If you got DraftKings, go to one of the others, BetMGM, whatever it is, and just put a couple $100 or whatever your budget is, and just use that account to bet against Colorado. And it's completely separate from everything else. This way you don't win on Colorado, but then throw it away at everything else. At least you could kind of keep track that way. So,
sure.
Long answer, I know. But yeah, I definitely.
No, horrendous team. Look, 5. You said it. Marginally better at home, but still atrocious. 5-18 at Coors. 3-22 when playing on the road. This is a team that has allowed north of 300 runs already this season while failing to score even 160. It's unbelievable. I think that again, I say this as someone who, like you, got raked over the coals by the Dodgers over the weekend when they got swept as heavy favorites each and every game. Yeah. And I just, kept going back to them, kept putting them in money line parlays. Last night I mentioned I finally figured, all right, Yamamoto is going to be the stopper. I'll go back to him and feel good about it. And by the skin of our teeth and a lot of luck in extra innings, they end up getting home with it. But yeah, I just recognizing that every once in a while, it's not going to go your way. I feel like you just have to. If you have a good team, even a mediocre team, a 500 team or better on the other side, you just got to go against Colorado. Maybe if they're if it's in not an equally, but a really bad team, another atrocious team on the other side, if Colorado's playing host to Pittsburgh or something like that, maybe I back off, unless of course Paul Skeens is on the mound. But generally speaking, I would like to just invest against Colorado. And I wonder too, like we were talking about it with Philadelphia tonight, at what point you not only are investing in the opponent, but on the run line specifically, in the same way that over the last couple of years, people were just blindly betting Dodgers run line because generally if they won, and they won more often than not, obviously, if they won, they were winning by multiple runs. That's how people were making their hay. I wonder if we end up doing that against Colorado this year as well.
Yeah, I think so. There's different ways we were looking. You could do run total. Philadelphia will use Philadelphia's game tonight, right? You go over team total for Philadelphia if you want. FanDuel offers a bet which team will have the highest scoring inning, and it gives reduced odds, for Philadelphia. I didn't look tonight, because the minus 220 is actually not that bad. It's when it gets into the 350s and the 4-to-1s.
Sure.
Like I was asking Sherapan that, Adam. Like, what is the highest number you think we're going to get in a Colorado game? When they play the Dodgers, when the Dodgers are loaded on the road and Yamamoto's on the hill, or picking any great team. I mean, I think we're going to see a 5-to-1.
Well, we've already seen 4-to-1s. Yeah, we've already seen 4-to-1s. I wonder. I don't know if we've exceeded minus 400. If we have, it's been maybe minus 425. I certainly don't think I've seen anything in the minus 450 range. But you're right. I mean, if anyone is going to be on the other side of that and present you the 5-to-1, it would be the Dodgers. But you know what? I think in that situation, just because of value in the number, you have no choice but to take Colorado at probably around plus 400 and hope they pull off a miracle.
Yep. SGP coming up next.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Me and Adam Kaufman in for Dave Sherapan tonight until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got the baskets. Knicks and Indiana Pacers. Good start for the Pacers, leading at 29-22. Good start for over players. 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 230.5 is your over-under now, up from the 221, 222, depending on where and when you did your shopping earlier today at the start of the game. And it is pick'em. Even though the Pacers lead by 7, so still buying into the Knicks, who were a 4.5 point favorite to start the game. Hockey also just underway, just dropped the puck 2.5 minutes in. No score, Edmonton and the Dallas Stars. Stars, basically the same numbers to start, minus 132 favorite. And 5.5 is still the number there with a little juice. So second segment, check that third segment, hour number 1. You know what time it is. Time for our SGP same game parlay. All right, we talked about it last segment, but might as well use that for tonight's SGP since the hockey and basket's already underway, right? Philadelphia at Colorado. I'm going to lay the 1.5 in this one. We didn't with the Trends, but this one I will. I'll lay the 1.5 because if everything else happens, chances are pretty good that they're going to win by 2 runs. So Phillies minus 1.5, still minus 150, by the way, and change there as you see. I'm going to go over 6.5 runs, Philadelphia. The guy Colorado has pitching tonight. It's making his second start. His first start, he gave up 5 runs in 4 innings against Arizona with no strikeouts. So chances are pretty good. This guy's a bum, right? So Philadelphia's asking for 7 runs is a lot, but you know what? I think they're going to get it tonight. Let's go with Trey Turner, then the big boys, right? I'm expecting a nice 11-2, Philadelphia win. Let's use the big boys. Trey Turner 1 run, Trey Turner 2 total bases, minus 165. Then we'll go with Bryce Harper. Surprisingly enough, they were giving me plus 105 for an RBI for Bryce Harper tonight. A lot of the other guys were minus money, including Castellanos, who was minus 125. So I'll gladly take that. Throw it all together. It's not going to be a great payoff, Adam, but I'm trying to turn a minus 220 favorite into a plus 563, in essence, underdog. So put them all together, plus 5.5 to 1. What do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a good payout. Obviously, if you can get there, it's 6 to 1. It feels like you're asking for a lot of different things to happen in order to get there. Not to say again there isn't correlation between them. You're leaning into the bigger players and hoping that they're involved in Philadelphia scoring all those runs. And I obviously support the Philadelphia run line as we talked about before. What I would ask you is, of those 6 legs, which is the one that concerns you the most? Is it Philadelphia getting all the way up to 7 runs at Coors against a mediocre or worse pitcher, or is it a specific prop like Castellanos driving in a run?
Yeah, it would be Harper's RBI probably, just because they're giving me plus 105. The guy bats clean up 4th or 5th for Philadelphia. Well, why would he be plus 105 tonight? Against this pitcher, against this team, with all the guys they have in front of him, batting, he's going to be getting on, or at least he's going to be batting with runners on base, I would think, throughout the entire night. So that would be the one, not because I don't think he can do it, just it seems weird they're giving me plus money with that. Otherwise, it would be the over 6.5 runs. 7 runs, is a lot of runs. But I'm thinking this kid's making his second start. I think they're going to let him just, pitch your way through trouble. Let's see what we have. We're the worst team in baseball, and we're not going to take you out in the second inning when you're giving up a couple of runs. So if he's off, he's going to be off for 3-4 innings before they yank him.
Yeah, and look, any of these parlays, however many, obviously the more legs you add, the more variance there is, but any of these pseudo long shots, and this isn't, I realize, like a 30 to 1, but even 6 to 1 is a long shot. Any of these, you know what you're getting yourself into when you're investing. It's not as quote unquote simple as just saying, I'm going to lay the minus 150 and invest in the Phillies on the run line and call it a day. Because that's one of the conversations I was having earlier today. Tom Vecchio and I were chatting, not on the air, so don't worry if you were watching, listening, you didn't miss it. This is just us degenerates talking over the phone earlier. We were talking about this game and saying, is the right play Philadelphia with the run line? Do you take the over on the 6.5 runs simply because obviously it's not nearly as juiced? What's the right play? And where I think ultimately probably both hit, quite frankly. But the thing that sort of makes, gives me a little bit of trepidation is would it shock anyone if Philadelphia goes out, wins this game 5-1, and you've smashed the run line, but they didn't get to the total? You know what I mean? So that's one of the things whenever I see an elevated team total, 6.5, we've seen some 7.5s recently from the Padres when they were playing at Coors. That's, it's over 5.5 starts to get a little scary for me.
Yeah. Take a quick break, come back. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, a regular figure here on SportsGrid, will join us, get some winners from him right here on the grid.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day on the grid. Midway through hour number 1, Scott and Adam Kaufman in for Dave Sherapan tonight. Watching a little NBA, a little hockey, some baseball stuff. Great start. If you don't have a dog in a fight, it's been an entertaining first quarter. They just, are finishing up here in just a couple seconds. A lot of points being scored. 35-34 now. Knicks down, 8, 9 maybe earlier, have rallied to take the leads as they close out the first quarter. Over under 233.5, up a solid 10-plus points from when it closed to start the game. And the Knicks remain a solid favorite, 4.5 minus 186. So with that, let's talk a little NBA with a good buddy. You see it here all the time here on the grid. Go to his website, WagerTalk.com. Make sure you look for Steve Merrill. Look for his icon. Get his picks, WagerTalk.com. Mr. Steve Merrill. What's going on, Steve? How are you tonight, bud?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Scott, Adam, nice to see you. And, yeah, I mean, the NBA just watched the last 2 seconds of the game, right? That's all that matters, or at least the second half. We saw the Timberwolves up 4 last night. They get blown out. We saw the Celtics and Cavs blow multiple 20-point leads in the previous round. So Indiana was up, and now with 1 second to go, they're down 1 at the end of the quarter. So even the first quarter has flipped with seconds remaining.
Scott had brought up, obviously, the total and how this one has jumped pre-flop to where we are now. 236.5 on the live line in this high-scoring game. The thing that I said in talking about this game is that if you are an Indiana backer, I think it's just correlated to go with the over because of, obviously, Steve, the pace that they play at. And we've got a close game right now. It's not like the Pacers are running away. The Knicks are leading by 1. But sure enough, as long as Indiana is in the fight, we have a high-scoring game. Knicks are not going to be able to get slow and methodical and just take this thing down against Indy. So is the over the right play in your mind, not only obviously in this game as it plays itself out, but as this series moves along?
Yeah, I do videos for Wager Talk TV every day, and I do every NBA playoff game. And I said in the video for this one that I did like the over. And even though playoff games have defensive intensity, these teams, of course, played 7 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year in early May. And the first 2 games soared over the total. We had 217 and 218 for the posted totals in New York last year for games 1 and 2, landed 238 and 251. And if you go back and look in game 1 last year, they had only 51 points. It got even faster after that and only 53 points. They had 65 in the third quarter and 69 in the fourth quarter last year. And the Knicks won that game by 4. And then in game 2, they kept it going 72 points in the first quarter, 64 in the second quarter. And then it slowed down a bit, but still 60-point quarters in the majority of games 1 and 2 last year. New York won them both at home, but they both sailed over as well. So not a lot of value left at them at this point with the in-game adjusted line, because as you mentioned, it's about 15 points higher than the pregame line of 221.5. Now it's 236 after the first quarter. The side, though, is pretty much where it was, 4.5 pregame. Now it's 4.5, 5 with the Knicks up 2 after the first.
Are you a middle guy, Steve, in that, let's say you had the over to start, right, at 222. We'll just pick a number that is pretty close to what it was, right? And now, boy, I got 235.5. I got a 13-point middle. Are you willing to bet the under and try and middle it, or do you stay away from stuff like that? Just, you know what, I got a decent shot at winning this one bet. I'll just go with that.
Yeah, Scott, it's a good question. I think with the totals, I'm a little less likely to do it. I liked it pregame. They've got 70 points here after the first. You're looking pretty good. Pace has been fast. And the thing about the Knicks is, everyone thinks of them as a half-court, slow-down defensive team. And this season, they like to play up-tempo when their opponent allow it. And we saw that last year in the playoffs as well against Indiana. So I think the over is looking good. What I would say you might want to start thinking about hedging just every night is with the sides. And I mentioned it a minute ago, Minnesota halftime lead gets blown out. We saw all those blown 20-point leads by the Celtics and the Cavs in the previous round. The NBA sides have been really random, and that's something I think they'll see. So I do think whenever you can get in-game adjusted value as far as the sides go, you might want to hedge or even jump in. With this game, we do not have that right now. The current in-game line is 4.5, which is exactly what it was before the first quarter started.
I love that question from professional hedger Scott Wetzel for sure. But on the prop market here in this one, Steve, the thing that I mentioned on the grid earlier today with Joe Ranieri and the prop market, Tyrese Halliburton, the fact that you look back at the 7-game series that these teams played last year, Halliburton took 10 3-pointers per game over the course of that set, made 29. He put up, I think, 9 threes per game during the regular season this year against New York. Here in this game, it's flipped. He's taken 1 3-pointer, didn't go, only has 4 points. He's been a facilitator, and I saw a lot of people on the under 8.5 assists coming into this game. He had 5 in the opening quarter. So what does that tell you about how Halliburton plans to maybe attack this series?
Yeah, so these two teams have combined for 20 assists in the first quarter in this game. They're each on a pace right now to have 40 assists. That's insane. Right now, they'd have 40 assists each for the game. I mean, I'm also like, I'm not even reading that right. Actually, it's 10-9. They just took one away from the Knicks. I'm looking at the in-game box score. They just went 10-9. That's really strange. So they must have gone back and reviewed something. But yeah, 19 assists after one quarter. Whew. By the way, as far as the in-game total, Scott, real quick, Pacers shot over 70%. Knicks shot 65%. So they did shoot lights out. So that is maybe a reason you'd look to hedge a little bit. I do think they'll come back down to earth. But Adam, as far as Halliburton goes, I mentioned this in my video. I said it's either points or assists with him. It seems like even when he has an off night scoring, he always gets assists. So I think you can probably play them both. At worst, he split out. But once again, if you think it's going to be a high-scoring series, a high-scoring game one, that would favor over assist props, over point props for most of the players.
Who'd you like in the series?
I thought Indiana and Minnesota are both live dogs. We'll see if the T-Wolves can get back on track tomorrow. My colleague Brian Power at wagertalk.com had this stat. I didn't even see it actually until afterwards, after I'd done my game one previews. But 19 of the last 20 times that a team has played less games going into the conference final, they've won the conference finals. And that favored both Indiana and Minnesota. It's really an incredible stat. The well-rested team, the team that's played less games, has won 19 of the last 20 East and West finals in the NBA. So that would have favored Indiana and Minnesota. I think the T-Wolves are still live. Obviously, they're going to have to win game 2 tomorrow. If they get down 0-2, I think it's a different story. And regardless of the outcome tonight, I think Indiana's a live dog in this series. Keep in mind, last year, the Knicks won games 1 and 2 at home. They had a 3-2 series lead, and then Indiana won game 6 at home and then won game 7 on the road. And I pointed that out in my video at wagertalk.com. A lot of people replied in the comments because I read the comments. I reply back that the Knicks were banged up. No OG late in that series. Brunson was a little injured, and that is true. But the point is, Indiana was in that series from start to finish last year, and I think they're just as good this year.
Steve, I feel like it's me against the world when it comes to the Thunder and the Timberwolves. I took OKC to cover the points last night. I think they're going to do so again tomorrow. I think they're going to roll in this series, probably ends in 5, with Minnesota taking a game at home. But based on everything that you just said, are you going back to the Timberwolves plus 7.5 as it stands for game 2?
Yeah, I mean, Adam, of course, I thought last night the situation was probably better for Minnesota as OKC had to play the 7-game, tough series, turn around and play in 2 days. So if you told me one team was going to be up by 4 and then get blown out, you wouldn't have thought it would have played out that way. You would have thought OKC came out strong and then maybe faltered. They outscored Minnesota by 30 points in the second half, 70-40. So it didn't play out like I thought it would. But as you dig deeper into that box score, and just watching the game itself, there were some misleading results there. First of all, the Thunder hit over 50% from 3. Minnesota was below 30%. McDaniels was in foul trouble the entire game. He actually fouled out, only played about 23 minutes. Edwards had an injury, came back, also had foul trouble with 4 fouls. So I do think Minnesota can play better and have a better result than last night if they have all their pieces in place. Oklahoma City was the best team in the regular season. They only lost 14 times, but keep in mind, 2 of those 14 losses came against Minnesota. They were just 2-2 against the T-Wolves in the regular season. And Randall did not play in any of the 3 games in February, neither did Gobert. So I do think Minnesota at full strength can match up. We didn't just quite see that last night. A lot of pieces in and out during that lineup.
Yeah, and then Anthony Edwards has got to step up. He's such an enigma. He could be the greatest player in the world, and he could be a guy last night, 18 stinking points. I know only 13 shots. I'll give him a pass on the point, but you got to shoot the ball. And sometimes he just disappears in these games. It's amazing. So, Steve, great job as always. Check out his videos. Check out all his picks. Go to wagertalk.com. Look for Steve Merrill. Hit his icon. Takes you right to his page, and you get all his plays. Steve, great job, man. We'll do it again soon. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Good seeing you.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Again, thanks to Steve Merrill. Check out his picks and all his plays, wagertalk.com. In fact, he's got a play tonight in which I don't want to ask him, give away all his secrets, right? But according to wagertalk.com, a 30-2 against the spread angle for tonight's game. Not sure what that was, but we do know he liked the over. So I don't know if that, maybe giving a little hint on it. I'm not sure, but 30-2 against the spread angle is pretty darn good. So anyway,
well, we're gonna have to text him. We're gonna find out which game that was.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, it's only basketball. It was the game, so.
Okay. All right.
Yes, so it had to be the next. Maybe the team total. He's 6-0 in NBA playoff team totals. Maybe something pertaining to that. But so yeah, here's a question I have for you, Adam. So it's 43-41. Pacers lead the Knicks. So good little back and forth here. Still 9.5 minutes left to go, second quarter. Over
Check out that live total, by the way.
Yeah, look at that, 241.5. Wow, I am a hedger. You're right. And I do have the over. I mean, I'm getting almost a 20-point middle. But I don't know if these teams, I mean, they have to slow down. They might not slow down, but the shooting success mark has got to slow down, right? I mean, they were shooting 70% before. Look real quickly. Indiana's shooting 72%. Knicks are shooting 63%. I mean, that's the stuff I worry about, not the pace of going up and down and someone starting to play defense, just the shots don't fall. But my question is, for you, would you go over even 240.5? And two, can the Knicks win a series like this? There's a reason why that line dropped, even though I don't agree with it. It's because I think people thought, okay, as you pointed out, right, Knicks are going to probably win this game. They're at home, so if the Knicks win, it's going to go under. Can the Knicks win a series, which is going to be 125-120 every single night, in your eyes?
All right. So, well, your first question, would I go over on the total as it exists right now? That is an emphatic no, because I agree with you. I don't think these two teams are going to shoot 60+% for the entire game. I think it's a hot start, and that's awesome because it has created this middle opportunity. I probably not, wouldn't be looking toward that hedge, by the way, and looking under in that middle. Even it's an enormous chasm of a middle, and that's what you're looking for, obviously, is a better. But again, you're already on the right side of the thing. I would just be happy winning my bet and, not like, to me, chasing the middle there gets a little greedy. You know what I mean? Like that's, because what if it does go south and we get to 245 points? Then you've just given away a little bit of your money on what was already a winning ticket. And so but again, that's how my brain functions. You may operate differently because I don't do this much in terms of the hedging. You do it all the time, obviously. It's why I call you a professional hedger. To your second point, though, with, can the Knicks win a series like this? Again, my feeling is no, and I'm looking back through what we've seen so far in the playoffs. So Knicks won game 1 against Detroit in a game that totaled 235 points. They won another game in Detroit, game 3, in one that totaled 234 points. We also saw 229 in that game 6 win. And against the Celtics, most were, a bit lower scoring. The game 4 that they won was 234, and that was, by far the highest in the series between those two teams. So again, I just, what did I just give you? Like at max, I gave you something that was in the low to mid 230s. So if you're saying, can the Knicks win games that approach the 240s, regularly against this Pacers team, or enough anyway? I just don't think so. I really don't. I don't think they have the offense top to bottom that can hang with the Pacers when they're on. Now, what you're hoping for, kind of like the Celtics fell apart offensively in that series against the Knicks, you're hoping for a couple games anyway that look like that, where, the ball's just not falling into the hoop and they shoot, sub 40% and maybe, in the range of 32% or so or below from 3. They don't get to the free throw line a whole hell of amount. Siakam can't hit. Turner can't hit. Halliburton's trying to facilitate and he's not hitting. There's going to be one or two of those games in this series. I have no doubt in my mind. But if most of them, let's say, I don't know, call it 5 out of 7, if you believe it goes the distance, look like this, no, I don't think the Knicks can keep up. And I think if you were thinking about investing in the Pacers going into the series, as I have been screaming about, if Indiana does go on and win this game, as I believe is going to happen at this point, you're not going to get a number, certainly not plus money, but you're not going to get nearly as advantageous a number as we saw going into the set. So, I think this could very well be a sign of things to come, Scott.
Yeah. I think the Knicks are in a position, and they lead now 48-45, like still first half, obviously. They're in a position where they can't win tonight. Why is that? Because I agree with you. I don't think they can win a series 125-120. I think the Pacers certainly can. I don't think the Knicks can. So if they end up winning tonight and the game is on pace for 125-120, it's hard for a head coach to say to the guys, hey, listen, guy, we can't do that again. We just can't. Because the players are going to look at it. What are you talking about? We're not going to back down to the Indiana Pacers. We're better than the Pacers. We just beat them at their own game. What, are you kidding me? No. If they lose, but it's got to be a blowout. Even if they lose a close game, I don't think the players, coaches, yes, but it's run by the players. The players are going to say, no. Right. We went toe-to-toe with this team. We're not backing down. And I think in the long run, that's going to hurt the Knicks. So they're on pace where, to me, they can't win, even if they do win the basketball game. So 242.5 is the number, 48-45. Do have a goal. Edmonton. Oh, you know what? We got another goal. How about that? Edmonton has come down. Goal horn. It's a beautiful thing. Edmonton. Well, I tell you what, if you played props, with the Oilers, you got to be pretty happy with their first goal. Draisaitl got the goal, assisted by Nurse and Connor McDavid. So I know a lot of guys play the player props, point props, goal props. Yeah. That's a pretty good number, with both those guys. Dallas, unassisted Sagan, former Bruin. I don't know why they got rid of him. But he ties it for Dallas. So 1-1, 4.5 minutes left to go. He didn't fit the Boston Bruins character. We all couldn't live up to all the standards.
There are some off the ice rumors as to why they got rid of him as well, but that's another story entirely.
Yeah. I swear, I had money on Edmonton. I was going to tell you, what? I would hedge right now and put a couple shekels on Dallas because they were like Edmonton was like minus 210 and Dallas was like plus 165 or so. But wouldn't do that now anyway. But back to the board we'll go. In-game live, Black Cloud play today coming up next.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Adam Kaufman filling in for Dave Sherpad this week. Time for our Black Cloud Play of the Day. Yeah, this is another line that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe, but this Arizona-LA Dodgers game, that's where we're going to go. There's only a couple of games that have yet to begin, so let's go there. To me, you can't bet the Dodgers until they get things figured out. So can you bet against them? Not really, but sort of. Rare time with our best play of the day. This is where you double, triple your play. Instead of $1 bet, you make it 2, if not even 3. Let's go with Arizona plus 105 against the Dodgers. First 5 innings. Why? Because Corbin Burnes is on the hill. And while I can't completely bet against the Dodgers, I can go against them first 5 because Burnes has been on fire. It took him a little while to get going this season. They signed with Arizona. His family's from Scottsdale, so that's why he chose the Diamondbacks. Maybe he was a little giddy, whatever. But his last 3 starts, man, it's as good as it is. No runs on 2 hits through 6 innings his last outing. No runs on 5 hits his last outing, which, oh, by the way, was against the LA Dodgers. And then 1 run in 6 innings against the New York Mets. So his last 3 outings, he's had 1 run allowed in 13, in 18, 19 innings. So that's why we're going to go Arizona first 5. You know, unless something crazy happens here, you know, he's going to give up maybe a run, I'm thinking. And then hopefully the Diamondbacks can score a couple of runs against the LA Dodgers pitcher, May, who's, you know, mediocre, halfway decent, but mediocre. So best play of the day, I'd be surprised. I think Arizona, and if it's an even score, then you don't lose your bet. This is not one. You can get odds if you say Arizona is going to win the first 5. This is just money line. So if it ends up 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, whatever the case may be, you get a push out of it. So Arizona plus 105, first 5 against the Dodgers. Adam, what do you think?
I like the play a lot, and for the reasons that you outlined. I like Corbin Burnes. I don't really trust Dustin May in this Dodgers offense, and I know we got the late game heroics last night, but if not for the fact that the bullpen gave up the solo home run in the top of the 9th to allow the game to be tied and go to extras in the first place, instead of a 4-3 Dodgers win last night, that's a 1-0 win. The Dodgers offense has been a little bit cold of late. I'd get a little greedy with this one. And what I mean by that is, and everyone allocates their units differently, right? I mean, you could decide this is a game you want to put more than a unit in on. If you want to keep it to 1, though, the way that I would do it is I'd put 3/4 of a unit on what you just said, first 5 money line for Arizona, and then I'd take the other 1/4 of a unit and I would do full game just because of the number you're getting, plus 120 to win the game for the Diamondbacks, because I absolutely think they could stifle the Dodgers here in this game as well. If you wanted to be a little bit more assertive and risk a little bit more, I would do full unit on your play, tack on a half unit on the full game for Arizona, do it that way. So whether you want to invest a unit versus a unit and a half, again, to your discretion. But I think, you know, absolutely, this is a situation where the Diamondbacks are live to win this game, and I like that first 5 play a lot. It's just the Dodgers, look, they're a great team. They're defending champs. They've got an assortment of weapons, but right now, in this malaise that they are in over the last week or 2 weeks, you haven't been able to trust them lately.
Yeah, it's crazy. Baseball, you know, our beloved Red Sox, listen, they're taking the first 2 against the Mets. Right, they are trailing game number 3, 3-1, top of the 7th inning. I'm okay with all that. You'll take 2 out of 3 if it ends up being that way. That's okay. Here's what bothers me, Adam. The Red Sox have had they're in the top of the 7th, right? So the Red Sox have bat 6 times. That's 18 outs. They've struck out 11 times today. 11 of their 18 outs are strikeouts, for goodness. I mean, they struck out 10 times against Taylor McGill. I mean, this is not Tom Seaver here. I mean, they're among the league leaders in strikeout. They just can't get their bat on the ball. I don't get it. It's amazing how much this team strikes out. So 3-1 Mets over the Red Sox, with the Mets having the bases loaded.
I get your point sort of in the aggregate, right? Like in a vacuum, you take 3 against the Mets. That's fine. You can live with that. You're even happy with that, right? You win the series. The reason that I went and kind of, scoff a little bit anyway is because this team's pitching staff is up and down. The bullpen is atrocious. And I think, not that this is fair, but anytime you got Garrett Crochet on the mound, you got to win. And Crochet, 5 1/3, only allowed 1 run. You got to win it for him to sweep this thing.
Hour number 2 coming up next.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Adam Kaufman in for Dave Sherapan tonight, tomorrow, and Friday as well. All week to appreciate that, Adam, as we check out the little NBA, little hockey tonight, obviously, and full slate of Major League Baseball. Just to update the scores here real quickly, they are second quarter, 3.5 minutes left. Knicks 58-54 over Indiana. Knicks now 6.5-point favorites. Over under still maintaining that 240 and change, 241.5. Hockey, it's 1-1. They just finished the first period. Dallas and Edmonton, Oilers scoring first. Over under is the same, 6.5, and the line is basically the same. Dallas minus 125. So we'll keep you posted on that. Let's get some thoughts from our next guest, sports handicapper extraordinaires, featured on the New York Times, ESPN, Fox Business, Fox and Friends, Fox Sports. See him all over the place. He's got a book out. It was number 1, still number 3. Not too bad. He's got his own little website, and that is thephillygodfather.com. They call him the Philly Godfather. What's going on? How are you tonight, bud?
Got to push the book, man. I just got off some phone calls with Netflix. We may have a series in the works. The book's debuted at number 1. Amazon new releases, so everything's going great. I can't complain.
Oh, it sounds like it's going awfully well. Let's see if you can help make some people some money tonight in the process here. Maybe make fill out your own wallet as well. Let's start on the ice. Obviously last night we see that Florida romp of Carolina to open up the Eastern Conference Finals. Tonight, not the case at least so far. We got a nice, entertaining 1-1 game between Edmonton and Dallas at the end of one period. A game that I really like the over in coming in at 6.5. Right now, we've got some work to do, but 2 through 1 at this point in time. What was your read on this game and this series coming in?
Yeah, I'm not the greatest handicapper when it comes to hockey, but I like the Stars. I laid 30 cents on them earlier today, mainly because of the way they took care of the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, they had, the best goal differential in hockey this season, and their goaltender played lights out. They only let up 14 goals against that team. And I think they were a little undervalued at home, laying 30 cents. I thought it was a little cheap, and I nibbled on them a little bit tonight.
Yeah, most people got the other way with that. So is it a home ice thing, or you think Dallas is going to win? Would you be betting Edmonton when Edmonton's at home, or is it really you just like the Stars in the series?
Well, I learned a long time ago in hockey and baseball, the teams that get hot late, the goalie that gets hot late is the team you want to back. And I like Dallas's goalie here. I think he's one of the better goalies in the NHL. And they played the better competition so far in Colorado and Winnipeg. And I think they're the team. I know the Oilers have slightly better odds to win the Cup, but the series is basically pick them at -110 each. So give me the Dallas Stars to win the series.
Meanwhile, over on the hardwood, we are approaching halftime in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between New York and Indiana. This one at MSG, obviously. And you were on the over coming in, 221.5. I mean, look, you could take the people at Netflix out to dinner on the money you're going to make tonight, because right now the live line is sitting at 241.5, and we are still 2 minutes from the break here in this one. Is this the kind of series we're going to get?
I mean, you got two good teams here, and you got two high-scoring teams. Both teams ranked in the top 10 in offense this year, offensive efficiency. If you look at three-point shooting, they're both in the top 10. And if you look at opponent three-point defense, the Knicks ranked 19th. So they give up the rock a lot from beyond the perimeter. This series could go to 7, even though I like the Knicks because of Jalen Brunson. He's a game changer, and he's the best player on the court. But if you look at this Pacers team, they got 6 players that average double digits this season, and a couple guys off the bench that can score. So they're going to hang around here late. Madison Square Garden, Knicks territory. It's tough to beat that team, but I definitely like the over tonight, and hopefully it cashes. Makes you guys some money.
Yeah. That line dropped, Philly Godfather. You've been doing it a long time. I have. Adam has. When you see a line like opened up at maybe it didn't open up, but it was high as 223.5. And then I saw it as low as 221. I saw it at 220.5. In fact, in one place, I'm like, who's betting the under here? It does, make me pause a little bit. As long as you've been doing it, does it still make you pause a little bit? Or you just say, you know what? Screw you. You're wrong. I know what I like.
Well, there's so much market manipulation being done, especially in the NBA, a lot of arbitrage. Game opened up 220, went up to as high as 223.5, like you said. Then the floor kind of dropped off late, right before tip-off. But, I trust my numbers. I trust my reach search. And there's guys I respect out there. And I didn't know, out of all the guys I respect, I didn't know one of the guys that were on the under. So I don't know who was steaming the under. So I just stuck, I stuck with my over, and it looks pretty good right now.
I like the Pacers to win this series, and I know right now we'll see how Game 1 goes. The Knicks are up by 4 points. Again, not even at halftime, but coming in, you're a Knicks believer. What took you in that direction outside of obviously this being the favored team?
Man, it's all about game changers in the playoffs, guys that can make a difference. And there's no one like Jalen Brunson during crunch time. And the Pacers are a solid team. They might be the deepest team in the playoffs this season. Like I said, they got 6 guys that average in double digits, a couple guys off the bench. But winning in New York in that atmosphere, anyone who's ever been to a game up there would tell you, man, it's electric. And when you got a guy like Jalen Brunson, on the court, and a couple guys from Villanova, and you got the Pope from Villanova, I think it's their year.
I love the fact that you like this next game. I don't necessarily like your side, but I love the fact that you like this side because I am curious to see why you like the side. And that's Arizona and the LA Dodgers, because I got to tell you, that 9 to me has written all over it. I don't know why it's that high when you got Corbin Burns, who's been pitching great on the hill, but you like the over. So fire away. Why over 9 Arizona, LA?
Well, I check off a lot of boxes, and the first box I checked off was the park factors. The second one was the home run favorability index. It's the second highest of any game on the board today at 2.99. So they're expecting around 3 home runs on the game. And as you guys know, the more home runs you hit in the game, the more runs you're going to score. And then if you look at the bullpens of both teams, they haven't been playing lights out all season. My expected run total for both these pitchers over the first 5 innings is right around 5.5 runs. And with that the way their bullpen has been playing, over 9 was easy to me. My model said the game they should score at least 10 runs, even money. So I nibbled a little bit on the over 9, and I also like the Diamondbacks plus 1.5 runs, minus 160 in the game. Anytime there's going to be a lot of runs scored, give me the dog every time. And if I can get plus 1.5, minus 160, I'll take that as well.
Let's build on that there because, look, if you had played that last night in extra innings, you would have hit, obviously, versus sprinkling the money line would have been a devastating loss. That said, when you do seem to have the pitching edge coming in with Burns versus May, do you want to sprinkle the money line at all, knowing that you're getting, obviously a far superior number than the minus 160?
Yeah, it's just tough beating the Dodgers at home this year. I mean, on paper, they're the best team in baseball. And now, being the best team in baseball doesn't mean you're going to win the World Series. But when you get the full 9 innings on a road team and you're taking the plus 1.5, because if you do take, the home team minus 1.5, you might not be able to get that bottom of the ninth if they're up. So you definitely want to take the road team plus 1.5 runs in this type of situation.
All right, last game, Angels in Oakland/Sacramento/ soon to be Las Vegas A's. What do you like in that one?
It's all about the weather, man. I bet a lot of overnights. I bet a lot of totals. A lot of my totals move the market. And this is all a weather game, man. To me, this says they're going to score under 10.5 runs because of the weather. And putting up 11 runs in baseball isn't the easiest thing to do. So I went under 10.5 runs in this matchup.
What's the name of the book, by the way? I know it's
on the. Yeah, it's called Book.
Right in a second.
There
it is.
Book. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. You can get it at phillybook.com, and it's on Amazon right now. I think we were number 1 all week. I think we're number 3 right now for new releases.
Cool. Obviously, it's a gambling-related book, right? A lot of interest in that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
check out his website.
Yeah, you got Jimmy Batista, NBA betting. You got so many stories in this book. You guys are going to love it.
Great. Check it out. Also, his website, thephillygodfather.com. Thanks, man.
You got it. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Adam Kaufman in for Dave Sherapan tonight and tomorrow as well as Friday. Filling in, doing a nice job as always. They've reached halftime. 69-62. It doesn't even matter who's leading because at this point, the winning score is going to be about 130-35 points. So what's the difference? But the Knicks are leading by 7, Adam, laying 5.5, which is interesting because they were a 4.5-point favorite. They're up 7, and they're only making you pay $1 extra. So they're telling you as well what I'm alluding to here. It's just, you know what? This has got so many points. It's going to go back and forth the whole freaking night. You may be up 7 now, but we're not going to, give any more money than what we really have to. So over under is 245.5. You got 131 points. Obviously, if you double that, you're on pace for 260. I don't think we're going to go there, but I will say, you got 131, so you only need 115 more second half. Are you going to regress that much? I know it's hard to say under or over 245.5, but you're really only looking at 115-point second half if you want to go over.
Yeah, look, it's either, to me, it's either under or pass, and I would pass. I don't want to play the under as it exists right now because this game has been weird because we kept saying earlier, well, the Indy's not going to keep shooting 75%. New York's not going to keep shooting 62%. Sure enough, you look at it at halftime right now, and each team is shooting 51% from the field. So both have come way down, but you know what hasn't changed? The output, the scoring is still there. We're still getting it, whether it's guys hitting 3-pointers or whether it's obviously trips to the free throw line. Like you said, we have that lofty total. I'm not looking for the middle that you talked about earlier. If you're already on the pregame over right around 221.5, 222, I am just, sweat-free cashing that ticket, and I'm happy to do so. I don't need to, try and get greedy and hit 2-1 with a middle if this thing does slow down in the second half, nor do I want to bank on it continuing and go over that, like you said, second half right around 115. I don't want to do that. Talked earlier with Joe Ranieri about, a couple of bets that I really liked in this game. I wasn't as inclined to play the over for the game in totality. I wish I had, like you, because obviously that thing is well on its way. But what I did really like specifically was the Pacers over 108.5, 110.5. And with them having 62 already, sure, I mean, they could go for 40 points in the second half. I don't see it happening, though. Wouldn't be unprecedented in today's NBA. Teams cool off in a hurry. But I just think this is, to your point, going to be a game that ends with each team getting around 120, 130, and we'll see who wins. I liked Indiana coming into the series to win again the series. I didn't have a great feeling about this specific game one, so I was staying away from a side in this one. On the prop market, though, we were talking about Tyrese Halliburton, and I just kept telling you, the threes. He only took 1 3 at the end of one quarter. He averaged 10 per game against this team in the series last year when they played 7 in the playoffs. How is this not coming yet? Well, you know what happened? He had 5 assists in quarter number 1 and 1 3-point try. Quarter number 2, he had only 1 assist, and he launched another 5 3-pointers, and he hit 2 of them. And coming into the game, he was basically even money, minus 102, going over 2.5 threes. He is 2 out of 6 right now, just needs 1 more and has an entire half to work with.
Yeah. You look at some of these halftime numbers and you ask yourself, do I want to go with guys who are doing well? And the answer would be, of course, why not? Well, you could go the other way and go with guys who didn't play particularly well first half, but figured to, especially since it's a higher scoring game. I point to Pascal Siakam. His number was 18.5. He averages 20.5. He had one good game, two relatively mediocre games against the Knicks, but it was a little misleading because one game Mathurin scored 38 and Halliburton scored like 30 as well, so they didn't need him that game. Another game was a blowout loss. He didn't play a lot, and so the normal game is the one he scored 24. So I thought we were getting pretty good a number with him at 18.5 since he does average 20.5. He only has 6. He only has 1 rebound. He's got 3 assists. I mean, I wouldn't have figured Siakam to have more assists than rebounds. Do you want to go there, or do you want to go to a guy like Halliburton, who's having a terrific day? He's got 14 points, only averages 17 or so. They got his number at 23.5. You go to Brunson, who's got 18 already. He would be the one guy on the Knicks I think I would double down on. Like he's their best player. He comes through in a clutch. He's going to have the ball, so he would be the one from New York standpoint for me, Adam, that I wouldn't have another problem just going over 33.5, even though his number was originally 28.5, I think it was. I think he'll get that.
I'd be more inclined to go over on Halliburton, and like you said, 23.5. He's already got 14. I'd be more interested in going over on that than I would Siakam. I know it sounds crazy because you're only asking him to get to 15 points and he has 6, but this dude has burned me so many times going back to the regular season when I've got him in builders. I just need him to get to 10, to get to 15. It's just some games, like you said, he's got more assists than rebounds. Some games he just opts to be more of a facilitator and more of a ball mover and creator, and is not someone that's putting up a lot of shots. And here specifically in this game, he's taken 5 shots. I mean, he could end this game with 8, with 10, and not get himself to 15 points, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least. It's the games that he comes out strong out of the gate and has like 8 first quarter points that I say, okay, this might be a Siakam game. I don't feel like that's this. Even though they are trailing right now, I'm not interested in playing him. I might look toward, Brunson. I respect that. I'd be a little hesitant because 33.5 in a game, they're already up by 7. Not that can't ebb and flow. That's, it's still a big number. It's why you're getting even money on it while he's sitting at 18. You need another 16 points, basically needing to replicate what he just did. I might look toward Josh Hart. He already has 8. Needs to get to 15, 14.5 the over. It's juiced to minus 136, but that would be a guy that I think could still be involved in the offensive rhythm of the game. What I want to point out, though, because we keep talking about totals, we keep talking about what to expect in this series. I just saw this come across from Underdog NBA, the Twitter account. The 69 points in the opening half for the Knicks ties a franchise record. Just to let you know. This is not something we should expect to see often out of New York.
Like to know how many they end up scoring in that game. We'll find out when we come back.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired a manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Adam, hour number 2. I tell you, things are going really well. I mean, if you're following us tonight, I don't want to jinx ourselves, but things are going well. So we mentioned before the 69 points for the Knicks tied their franchise record for most points and a half in a playoff game. And I questioned whether Philadelphia scored 2 more. I wondered, how many, just out of curiosity, did they end up scoring that game? And Adam, I think you found it. Did you not?
Yeah, and ironically enough, it was in the playoff series last year against Indiana when these teams matched up. It was Game 5, also in New York, and the Knicks, they scored 69, again, setting that record, which they matched tonight in the opening half. In the second half, things came way down, both sides, as a matter of fact. New York scored 52 second half points for a total of 121 in a blowout win. Now, part of that, though, I imagine, is the fact that it was a blowout win. It was 121-1. Right. The Knicks won that game by 30 points to go up 3-2 in that series. So it wasn't the run and gun back and forth game we've kind of got in our hands right now. I mean, even at halftime of that game, New York was up by quick math 15 points, and then they just doubled it there in the second half. So, we'll see what tonight has in store, obviously, in terms of whether or not they can keep up that production. But that's what we had, a severe come down with, again, 52-37, the second half margin in that game between these teams about a year ago.
All right, interesting. Hockey second period is underway. Edmonton and Dallas tied at 1. Stars still favored, as they figured to be, since they were about a minus 130 favorite to start the game. That's where they're at right now, 125. And the over-under is still it's down, actually, to 5.5 from the 6.5 it was to start the game. They're about 5.5 minutes in. Good news out of Philadelphia. Actually out of Colorado, but for Philadelphia. Phillies lead the Rockies 6-2. They're playing top of the third inning. Our SGP that we gave out, Trey Turner, 1 run. He has 2. Trey Turner, 2 total bases. He has at least 2 because he's got 2 hits. Bryce Harper, the 1 RBI that I was a little worried about because they were giving us plus money. He's got an RBI already, and so does Castellanos with an RBI. I need over 6.5 runs, and they got 6, and we're in the third, and we need the Phillies to win by at least 2 runs, and they're up 4. So we're in a pretty good spot. Crashed our 5.5 to 1 SGP.
Yeah, you couldn't be in a better spot right now, short of already cashing the thing. That's a top 3, and all you need is, Philly to not stink pitching and score 1 more run, and you're home.
Yeah, and they're keeping this guy Palmquist in there, which I thought they would, because they don't have an off day tomorrow. They play Philadelphia again tomorrow. And he's making his second start, and I just figured they would, let him hang himself, and that's exactly what he's doing. 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, only 1 strikeout, giving up a couple of home runs. Turner's got a home run. Harper has a home. I just sometimes, Adam, you see a line, and you just say, man, it's so scary. We've been doing this both a long time, and I still see lines that are like Bryce Harper in the middle of this lineup, and you're giving me plus 105 to him to have an RBI?
Yeah.
They got him batting second today. Maybe that's why, because they knew he was batting second, not third or fourth. But still, the Rockies suck. I mean, they got a pitcher who's a bum. How is he not going to get an RBI today? They were giving me plus money. So
I get it. I get the confusion with the line. I also get the, sort of resistance to playing it for anyone out there which contributes to the line, simply because, never mind spot in the batting order. It's just, look, it's not, even when you're a great player, and Bryce Harper is a great player, maybe not as great as he once was, it's still hard to drive in a run, right? Like these aren't free squares, even if you're a Shohei Ohtani to get a hit. Every once in a while, dude goes 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. These things happen. But look, I agree with you in terms of just sort of reading the situation, the pitcher on the other side, the venue, the quality of team, and the potency of that Philadelphia lineup. Unfortunately, just stranded a man on third. Otherwise, that would have been your 7th run. But even still, up 6-2 right now, heading to the bottom of the third with a lot of game left here and opportunities for the Phillies, and I don't think they're done scoring.
Yeah, I saw this last weekend against Arizona, so I'm not counting it as a win by any stretch. They had a 3-0 lead. They blew that. And then Arizona had a lead. They blew 2 3-run leads and ended up losing the game 14-12. So every once in a while, the Rockies show that they're a professional team. Let's hope it's not tonight. 16.5 is your over-under on that one in the third inning. You had 8 runs already. You probably get 7 more runs. Our beloved Red Sox down to their final 3 outs, trailing against the Mets 4-1, top of the 9th inning. We'll get to that and then a couple of the baseball notes. Check the hockey and NBA when we return right here on the Grid.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. Fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. I'm waiting for something. Well, in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Yes. We got a goal. Edmonton Oilers. That's okay. Edmonton Oilers score again, so they now lead 2-1. 13 minutes left to go in the second period. Minus 250 are the Oilers now favored. Now, if you want to hop on Dallas at plus 190, we didn't tell you to do that before. I think that's a halfway decent play, especially if you had Edmonton like I do. I'll hedge a little bit. And then the over-under is back to 6.5. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with the goal for the Oilers. Let's see who picked up the assists, if anybody.
Yeah, wait till you see who's on the assists. Yeah. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Go figure. So if you took
How about
2+
that?
points on those guys, look, if Edmonton is going to win this series, and this is not a hot take, obviously, if the Oilers are going to win this series, get past a very talented Dallas Stars team, steal games on the road, get themselves back to the Stanley Cup final, where they were terrible the first 3 games and then rallied, obviously, to force that Game 7 and fell short. Your best players need to be your best players, and that extends beyond the crease. You need McDavid to be hot. You need Draisaitl to be hot. You need a guy even like Nugent Hopkins to step up every once in a while. So the fact that you've got a multi-point game early on here, not even halfway through this game, out of your 2 big guns, I think sets a lot about what to potentially expect here in this series out of Edmonton.
Yeah, and if you're an Edmonton player tonight, right, you did some shots on goals, maybe, same thing, Adam.
Yep.
Leon Draisaitl got 3. McDavid has 3. Nugent Hopkins on that line has 4. So, 3 of the main guys. Vander Kane has none. I will say that. He's got 2 but missed. So he would be like the 4th wheel that, okay, maybe you would have bet him. But the guys are coming through for Edmonton if you're your player tonight. So 2-1, 13 minutes left, and obviously long ways to go. So I would, if I didn't hedge now, I'd wait a couple minutes and get that number up. But I'm trying to get too greedy on hedges. So I liked Edmonton in the series. What about you? I thought they were the better team. I'd love to have a rematch. Last year's Stanley Cup, 7 games, Florida versus Edmonton.
Yeah.
I would definitely sign up for that. And, you know what? I spoke it into existence. How about that? Edmonton, where's the
Just
blowhorn?
like that?
Just like that. Where's the horn yet? 3-1.
We're going to find out who it's from, though.
Yeah. FanDuel's got it. Let's put it this way. FanDuel has it at 3-1. Oh, yeah.
No, it's Evan Bouchard, his 5th of the postseason at 7:48. So that's 2 goals in a span of roughly 90 seconds out of the Oilers to start to open this thing up. We'll wait on the assists. Those aren't listed yet. But, you're not even halfway through this game. And this, I don't know what it's going to be ultimately, but this game to a T is following the pattern of what we saw last night. I mean, I guess not exactly. Florida led 2-0, and then it was 2-1. This game was 1-1, but even still, then Edmonton jumped ahead 2-1. Both cases, you saw the road team up 2-1 and then make it 3-1 and never look back. And that's what we have right now, again, sitting midway through this contest. Nugent Hopkins and Draisaitl once again on the assists. So that for Nugent Hopkins is a 2-point game. Draisaitl has 3, McDavid 2. It is all Edmonton's top line getting it done at the moment.
It's amazing. This team really is. Them in Florida, on paper, there's some good teams, some really good players. But, man, those 2 teams are so deep. And in the case of Edmonton, they got the superstar. I don't know if Florida really has a superstar like Connor McDavid, but they got McDavid and Draisaitl, and Hyman is good. Kane is really good. I mean, Nugent Hopkins.
There are a lot of people that want to put
player.
Kachuk in that conversation when he's healthy, at least, and he doesn't entirely look right at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that high. I mean, he's good. Take him on my team, but super.
He's not like McDavid. He's not McDavid. He's not Draisaitl. He's certainly not the offensive performer those guys are. But in terms of stars on that team, Kachuk and Barkov, and I mean, hell, like he's. I guess he's not a star anymore. I mean, he's 37 years old, whatever he is, and he's playing on the 3rd line. But shoot, like. Brad Marchand had 8 points in the last series against Toronto, didn't he? So another guy that's just producing at the moment. I mean, hell of a trade deadline pickup for them.
Yeah. And then, listen, that would be a good finals. I think the public would buy into that. There aren't many teams that the public, not the hockey fan, but the general public, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch a Stanley Cup game. I think they'd be able to promote that last year with the Game 7 and everything and overtime. I mean, if you can't promote that series, then I don't know what, the fans would need outside of just maybe a major market team because you're not getting major market teams here. But, from a player standpoint, I think the numbers would be really good. So, all right, so 3-1 Edmonton over Dallas. Now, like I said, wait a little bit before you hedge. Now you're at plus 470. Now you may not want to hedge.
Yeah.
But listen, we've seen a lot of leads get blown. So I would. If I had Edmonton at basically pick them plus 105, let's just say $10. Just make it nice and easy. I would take 3 of those dollars and put it on Dallas right now. At plus 520. I'll sacrifice $2-3. Not much more than that, but I would definitely sacrifice that. Knowing, okay, you know what? I got 5-1. I'm going to win $15 over here. I'll win $10 over here. Either way, I'm going to win money. I'd be okay with that. That's the mind of a hedger.
I get it. That exactly what I was going to say. That is very much the mind of a hedger, and I don't necessarily. I'm curious. This is a longer conversation, maybe that we could have it at some point, because I know we don't really have time for it tonight, but we've got another couple nights together here. I am curious. Because I talk about hedging all the time, I almost never do it. You talk about hedging all the time, you do it religiously. How often do you actually have a losing night, given the fact that you are like seemingly so good at covering up bad bets, or obviously looking for these, middle arbitrage kind of situations to where maybe you're even winning 2 off of 1?
Right. I don't hedge all the time, and I'm the first one, like every other gambler. I'll say when I do hedge, the original bet wins. When I don't hedge, the original bet loses. It's one of those things. Sure. I don't have a whole lot of luck when it comes to hedging. I really don't. So why do I do it? I do it, Adam, because I've been doing this a long time. And I don't have one of those stories where, I lost so much, it changed my life, or I don't. I've never gambled that much to have that effect.
It's a good thing.
But yeah, exactly, right? But have I had heartbreaking losses that it just like I couldn't sleep at night? Oh, absolutely. We all have, right? And I'm at the point now where I say I don't want that feeling, because that's the worst feeling in the world. And every gambler knows it. You are as mad as at the world. You can't believe it. That's how they lose. It's impossible. Right? I don't want to feel that way anymore. So now I hedge in part because I want to make sure I get a win. But a lot of it is just, you know what? I don't want to feel that way. And in case they do blow this 3-goal lead with 3 minutes left, I'm going to be on the positive side of things. And if I have to sacrifice some of my winnings to avoid that feeling, I'll do it. I will.
Well, let me ask you, like a sport like baseball, where you couldn't possibly have more variance than you get out of the bullpens in a sport like baseball, obviously. If you are on a team's money line, and not like a heavy favorite, let's say you invested in something minus 120, and the team, I don't know, make it up, the Tigers, they're up 3-1 going into the 9th. They're a much heavier favorite at that point because they only need 3 more outs. You feel like you're sitting pretty. We've all been on the wrong side of where, oh my God, their ace closer gives up 3 runs. I lost the bet. When you're going into the 9th inning and you see, the team on the other side at maybe, I don't know, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1. Like, are you sprinkling at that point, just saying, I'm getting something out of this?
Yeah, I am. One of the times I didn't do it, just reaffirmed why I should be doing it all the time, was about a week ago or so, less than a week maybe. Who was it? Soriano. Who's he closing for? They were facing the Angels, and he walked like 4 guys in an inning. And I'm screaming at the TV, take the guy out. I know he closed like 20 straight wins for them, dating back to last year. But he clearly didn't have it. He hit a batter. His pitches are going all over the place. I'm yelling at the team, take him out, And he ended up blowing a 3-run lead. And the Angels beat, who was it? Anyway, it didn't matter. But that was one time I didn't hedge. Yeah, so... Yeah, I will. Believe it or not, sometimes, depending on the night, especially if I'm up all day. Sure. All right, more coming up. Dan Stewart coming up next.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm going to go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Words I never thought I would say, but the scoring has slowed down some in the NBA. So we were talking about hedging, me and Adam before. If I had the over, as I do, I would hedge now. They got 22 points in the first half of the third quarter only. And that's on pace for less than 50 points a quarter. And we scored a gazillion points in the first half. So I would like bail a little bit. So we got 80-74 Knicks on top of Indiana, 5.5 and 239.5. And then hockey's 3-1 Edmonton with the Dallas Stars. We got baseball. We got some golf coming up as well. So let us bring in our good buddy, Mr. Cam Stewart, who takes over at the top of the hour. Lower Game Morency here on the grid. What's going on, Cam? How are you tonight?
Hey, Sky. Well, can't lie. Usually I'm pretty good with the pucks, but he's this Edmonton Oiler team. I don't know what it is right now. I got futures on Dallas clouding my vision, but Edmonton looks really, really good. And you said it in the break, they get any type of goaltending. But now, what do we get this line at? Can you believe this? So on my FanDuel there, Scott, they got 6.5 with a minus 190. Like, no thanks. Like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So that juice is just stupid, but I think it would go over that. Dallas plus 2.5. They're not done yet, but we saw what happened. I got burned the other night too when I go, I'm going to get cute with Carolina. There's no way that I get 2 goals, and they ended up losing 5-2 and lost that game. Basketball. This is one I do like though. I think the Indiana Pacers live right now. They're down 6. I'm getting 5.5 on my book. I actually would sprinkle on the money line at plus 210. I think this game is going to come down to the wire, and we have some time left in this game. It's a dogfight. Now they're only down 4. So, yeah, give me the Pacers. I think they cover the number, and I have to have a sprinkle on that money line at 2-1.
Let me ask you about some baseball, because I was just, on my FanDuel account, and I'm sure other people have this as well. I have a live baseball boost, all right? So couldn't use it pregame. You got to invest in game. Now, we were talking a lot earlier about Philadelphia. I was all about Philly winning this game, and they're up 6-2 in Colorado as it sits right now. But I wanted to look at it and say, all right, so it's got to be a live boost. I'm just going to throw in Philly money line. That's incredibly juiced, like minus 1,800 or whatever. But what am I going to put it with? With these games that haven't started yet. And what I decided on was going with, and Scott brought this up earlier, I think it's a great look, going with the first 5, either, I did the plus half a run, I just to allow for a potential there, but of Arizona in LA with the Corbin Burns factor leaning into the pitching matchup here in this game off of Arizona losing the heartbreaker last night. How do you feel about this one that starts up when you and Gabe are on in a little bit?
I kind of like Arizona. I know Gabe's a Dodger fan, but the D-backs have been good to me. We're getting Burns at plus 120 here. I think that's great. If you want to put a parlay piece, Arizona plus 1.5 looks pretty good to me as well. I'm done with the Sacramento Athletics. I can tell you that. We had them in a parlay, and the Angels are just killing these guys. I kind of want to come back to the Angels, but this is the night with Sears on the hill, minus 160. It's a little bit too juicy for me. Adam, what about live? Philadelphia and the Rockies, it's 6-3 in the bottom of the 4th. We got 9 runs, total 15.5. Can we get there? I don't think they're going to be stop scoring. Phillies might get like 12 or 13 themselves right now. So that's something that I would look at in that game. But my pooch tonight will be the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm getting plus 120 against May and the Dodgers. That's what I like there. But yeah, hey, what about runs in this in Sacramento too with these guys on the hill? was this Konachowicz and Sears Roebuck. Sears is out of business, and the Oakland A's are going to be out of business pretty soon. If these guys keep on losing to the Angels, I'll tell you that. Liquidation sale. Anyway, what are we doing? Ooh, what good game. This Pacers-Knicks game's great. I'm almost going to change the hockey game, Scott. Put the basketball on right now. Because I got to change my luck. Anyway, yeah, exactly.
How about a little golf here, Kev? How about a little golf? You know, we've seen Tiger Woods odds. Good, because we've seen Tiger Woods be this low. Scotty Scheffler at plus 240. I don't remember Cam, though, the next guy, when Tiger was in his heyday, being so far back. Maybe it's just this tournament, but you got some big name. Matsuyama's in there, Fleetwood's in there, Spieth's in there. The next guy is 22-1. It goes from plus 240 to 22-1. How do you attack the Charles Schwab?
Let's remember, if Tiger Woods wasn't around, Vijay Singh, Phil Mickelson, and Ernie Els would have probably five majors more apiece. That's just what happened. Even Jim Furyk would have a couple. But great course, traditional course, Colonial in Texas. You got to hit the ball straight. It's a second shot golf course. Scotty Scheffler's on fire right now. So if you got a book, results without Scheffler, that's a market you could attack. But here are my outrights for this week. I'm starting with Aaron Rai. This guy is a perfect fit for this golf course because he hits it straight and he's a great precision iron player. It's all about the putting with him at 35-1. JT Poston had a great performance in a major last week at 50-1. He's trending in the right direction. I know Brady Cannon and I both like JJ Spawn, an underrated player who's lost in the playoff to Rory. Remember, they had a really good battle. This guy is having a great season at 55-1. Davis Thompson, kind of a name under the radar, but people who don't know Davis Thompson, he's one of those guys who's just very, very consistently straight good, and his putting can get real hot. 60-1's a great price. Bud Cauliflower, eat your vegetables after a medical exemption. This kid is on fire with top 20s all over the board. Oh, Scott, I did it again. Cole Kane, what? Cole Kane problem. What? Carver's on him this week, Cooper all on him. And we said, this is the week that Eric Cole gets it done. He also likes hoagie sandwich. Tom Hoagie at 100-1. Now we go with the position picks. I did less of these this week. Daniel Berger is a very hot pick in the golf world. I'm a little bit worried it's too trendy, but he plays great here. He's won on this track, plus 240. Harris English, second in the major last week, plus 130. Brian Harmon, he hits it straight. Great hot putter too, plus 190 for a top 20. Ryan Gerard, watch out for him, Scott. Remember I tell you about up-and-coming golfers? This guy from the University of North Carolina has been cashing top 10s and 20s all year. And Ashkay Batea, disrespected in the top 20 market at plus 230. First-round leaders, this is what we're all about. Tommy Fleetwood, he's a quarter horse. He might not finish the race, but he'll lead early, 35-1. I'm going all the way with Rye. One Ryan Ginger to start. I'll close the bar with another Ryan Ginger at 40-1. Batea, 65-1. There's my dinner, the hoagie sandwich for a first-round lead. He's on fire. He's had 2 first-round leads this year, 75. My namesake, Cam Davis, another notorious Thursday warrior at 80-1. He's there again, Scott. Cole. I said, he's not leading. I'm going to snap. I got him to win at 100, 85. And the big South African, EVR, Eric Von Rooyen. Enjoy the golf, everybody.
I'm just glad we're out of time because I don't even want to follow that with a question.
No, there's not many questions. Scotty Scheffler will probably win, and if he wins this week, we can't bet him anymore. Every tournament will be without Scheffler. That's the bottom line. He's too damn good.
The best.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom, it's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm going to put it on Vinny. I'm going to put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Adam closing up shop. We got Cam and Gabe at the top of the hour for the next 2 right here on SportsGrid Radio, SportsGrid TV. Boy, fast 2 hours. So let's check the scores here. Final minute and change, third quarter. Knicks 87-83. Right. You know, if you were out, took the little lady out to dinner or whatever, forgot the game was on, whatever the case may be, like, oh, fudge, I forgot to put the bet in. You can put the bet in right now. Knicks 4.5, that's what it was to start the game. 2 hours later, that's what it is, or an hour and a half, whatever, later, it's still 4.5 after everything is said and done. Over under, little different story, Adam, it's 236.5. We got Edmonton 3-1 over Dallas, final seconds of the second period there. And then the baseball stuff starting. Oh, Stankies, I see tied up the Rangers 3-3, top of the ninth. That's not good for over-under players. In fact, that sucks for over-under players. We're running under 7.5. Now it's going to take a minor miracle for that to hit. Phillies hit their 7th run. That's the good news. Batting top of the 5th, 7-3 over Colorado. And then we got 2 games starting here in a little bit. So have any preference, Angels, A's, or Diamondbacks, Dodgers? Or anything else for that matter.
Just real quick before we run out of time, we should show your SGP graphic again, because, you know, if I'm not mistaken, right, like as long as Philly's up by 4 and still tacking on runs, as long as Philly wins by at least 2, you've got the rest of this in. You're on your way to cashing the 6-1.
Now I kicked myself for not betting more. I should have added a few more props on there. I got Harper and extra hits.
That's always the way, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's always the should have bet more. I mean, that's the look, as a gambler, like any gambler will tell you, like the best thing you can say to yourself at the end of the night is, I wish I'd put more on that play, because at the very least it means you won. So, you know, by all means, like hopefully you bring home this 6-1. It's incredible.
Again, start the sentence with, I only won. It's a pretty good sentence, right? So we like
that.
That's right.
But yeah, as far as these late games go, I'm with you on the Diamondbacks. You know, I think they're worth sprinkling on the money line, but I would prefer the first 5. I think that's a great look from you. Go for the money line. If they're tied, it voids out, obviously. No harm, no foul. You don't need them to be leading at the end of 5. You're leaning into the pitching matchup, Burns against May. I think it's a good look, plus Arizona. Probably coming in a little angry after squandering an opportunity with a heroic comeback in the 9th last night, taking the lead in the 10th, and then ultimately falling short. A's Athletics, you know, I know some people have talked about the under in this contest on this show. I can't do it in that ballpark. I can't. You know, you want to fade the game, fine, don't play the over. I can't play the under, even when it's sitting at 10.5. I would look to the over. I mean, these are not great pitchers. Sears has had a good season. He has a 3.5 ERA, but generally speaking, these aren't aces that are on the mound here in this game. So I would look to the over once again. That thing has been a bandbox so far in Sacramento.
Yeah, and the Angels are playing well. They've won 5 in a row, and they're scoring 6 runs, 11 runs, 6 runs, 4 runs, 7 runs. Yeah. So I don't see that. That one doesn't make much sense to me to play that. The line does, and then the line with the Arizona Dodger one. I know Philly Godfather was talking about how all these metrics and goofy little stats says a lot of home runs tonight. I don't know how. Corbin Burns has allowed 1 run over his last 3 starts. What category could possibly indicate we should get 3 home runs tonight? But it does got written all over it. I will say that. Halliburton's got 23 points, so he needs one more to go over. He went over his original number, but when you said you would use Halliburton again, it was 23.5, so we need one more. That's obviously looking pretty good. My Siakam over 18
3
and a
for
half.
9
He's
from
got
3,
12.
by the way.
There you go. So we hit that. Nice.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns has 20. He was one that I would have played under. He was at 25.5 because I'm just not. He just disappears so much. It's amazing. So Hart with 8 points. McConnell with 7. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the numbers that we had. Halliburton was the one.
I do feel like, Scott, I talked you off that middle, and I'm feeling bad about it because it's all the way down. You had 245.5 at one point. It's all the way down to 232.5 after a low-scoring third quarter.
I'm starting to do we have to worry about getting over 223? I put it earlier in the day. Do we have to worry now about 223.5? I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, I look, never say never, obviously. They got a full quarter to play, but I don't worry about that, especially because the game's still close. And if it stays that way, you're getting free throws at the end.
Yeah. Hopefully this is just the ebb and flows. 44-point third quarter. They can't possibly do that again. They just can't. So let's hope we get a close game and points come and go. So 3-1 Edmonton. I think Edmonton wins, and then hopefully the Pacers at least cover, if not win outright. So Adam, great job as always, man. We'll do it again. You're going to fill in for Dave tomorrow and Friday. So we'll be back. We got Cam and Gabe coming up next. Enjoy your night, folks.